Welcome to the Patterson Library Connection. In this episode of our podcast, we'll share good news and library happenings, talk to fun and interesting guests, and connect with our Patterson community. I'm Lillie Muscente, the Program and Marketing Director here at the library. In today's episode, I'm talking to two amazing musicians, Deni Bonet and Chris Flynn. They will tell us about their performances from the White House to the stage with Cyndi Lauper, and so much more. Thanks for joining us. Now let's get started. Hi, Adam.
Hello, Lily.
How's everything going?
I am getting through winter. We're in February, and I think it's a great time to either do nothing or get a lot done, right?
Yeah, I've been trying to keep going. This way it doesn't feel too long. Unlike so many people I see on Facebook that are in these amazing, beautiful tropical places, I'm here in Patterson, as are you, right?
I'm actually loving I love the snow. I when I don't get it and it's the gray mud, I think it's worse. I love when we've gotten a good amount of snow. And it's been a lot of fun getting outside when I can, and it's much more pretty. The light comes down. I'm liking this winter. I'm ready for it. And then spring will come soon enough, and then you got to do chores. Yep,
that's true too. I do feel like it's a little bit of a break when it does get cold, and I kind of enjoy my home a lot more when it's winter. But I will say I do agree. I think it is really pretty when it snows, and I keep thinking I wish I skied. I'm awful at it. I've tried a couple of times. I did as a kid, and my son lived out in Colorado, my daughter-in-law, and we went out there a couple of years ago, and I think about 3 years ago, and I skied Beaver Creek. So I was like, I am going to do this so that I feel like like I'm really a skier. Well, it took me like 3 hours to get down the hill. My poor daughter-in-law helped me up so many times. And I was like, where's the guardrails? I was terrified. So I'm not skiing anymore. I sat in the lounge the rest of the time and had an amazing cocktail, and I just had a great time. I was like, that's my idea of skiing. So I'll go to a nice ski area, watch everyone else, and I'll just wait in the lodge.
Live vicariously through their impending danger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My husband, who doesn't ski often, was amazing. It was like he skied all the time. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, here we have a great ski area right here. So my granddaughter actually, she's 2.5, and she just went skiing for the first time on Saturday. So yeah, she did really great going down with my son. And I will enjoy watching the grandkids ski. I'm going to watch Stella, and I will just, I'll get enjoyment out of that. I'm not getting on those skis again.
They had do they have like tubing there or sledding where you go up in the lift? Because I would do that.
I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. I know she just skied. He had her right in front of him, and she's hanging on to the little ski pole, and she did great. I have to say, I was really impressed. She did a lot better than I did.
Well, they're more malleable at that age. You can take a hit, I think, and pop up again.
True, lower center of gravity.
Yeah,
right?
I'm more aware now as I get less malleable of stupid things I did when I was a kid.
I know, right?
Like jumps and through the woods and everything. I guess that's how it goes, right?
It does. I know. Well, I guess we're getting through this winter, and I'm looking forward ahead. And, my thing is boating. So I'll be really happy in my happy place on the Long Island Sound. We were just talking about that. And so I'm definitely waiting for that. I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost there.
Another one. Here we go.
Halfway through February. So we're getting close. So so we'll just wait for happier sunny days. And
in the meantime, we have the podcast to keep us warm with some fun, good news. I hear we have some good news coming up,
yes.
and we got some hot guests on today.
Yes, I'm excited about these guys. They are so fun, and they have such great energy. So yeah, let's get to some good news. In the last week or so, there was a lot of activity on the library front. Our director, Stephanie Harrison, along with hundreds of other library supporters, went to Albany last week. And they go on Library Advocacy Day to meet with state legislators and representatives and ask for their continued support for funding for libraries. As you know, like, libraries are not for profit, so we depend on a lot of state and county funding to bring all these wonderful programs and activities to the communities. So we couldn't do it without that, and we are really grateful for all the help that these state legislators give us, and, you know, on the local level as well. So that was a really great day for her. She got to meet with a lot of people, and we shared some information on our Facebook page. And so that was really wonderful. So I'm glad that they had such a great turnout. And in other news, just our programming schedule is filling up for 2025, and we just had a really fun trivia night for adults. Sean from Mid-Hudson Trivia does a great job with so many fun and interesting questions, including my favorite part, the music segment, where you have to name a song or performer. And I have to say, it's amazing how everyone in the room knows every word. They sing along, and we're all singing and stuff, but trying to remember the name of the song or the group was nearly impossible. Like, everybody's like, is it the Goo Goo Dolls or Go-Go Dolls? Is that Perry Como, or, you know, the guy with the white hair? Like, it's just so funny to listen in on all the conversations. You know, so whether you know that what state Mount Rushmore is in, or you know the name of the longest river in China, it doesn't really matter. Everybody has a great time. It's just a fun night with friends, and some people come alone and meet new people, and some people come with a big group, but it was a terrific night. But that just goes to that social aspect of what we're trying to do here at the library. We have great resources and so many things people need, whether it's a copy machine or a fax machine, or using our notary services, or borrowing a book, an audiobook, whatever. But aside from that, the programs allow us to give people opportunities for social engagement. And we have a lot of people looking for ways to meet other people. And we hear it all the time. Especially recently, we've had a couple of programs with a life coach. And people express the need to meet other people and to have friends and just to engage socially. And a lot of people said their friends have moved away, or now that they're retired, they don't see people as much. Now that they're not working, and they're all looking for ways to engage with other people and to have conversations. So one way we're going to help with that is, starting in April, we'll be changing the format of our movies. We show movies twice a month, and we would just start at 1 o'clock and show the film. But now we're going to start at noon, and we're going to have what we're calling Real Talk, which is a conversation and a discussion about the film afterwards for anybody that's interested in staying. It's kind of like a book club, but for films. So we're looking forward to that, and we hope that that also helps alleviate some of that problem with isolation that so many people talked about. And we're also going to be adding a few more off-site trips to our schedule this year. The first one is to DIA, the Contemporary Art Museum in Beacon. There's a few spots left for this trip, but we cover the cost of admission, and you do have to get yourself there. You provide your own transportation. But it's another great way to enjoy something with a group of people rather than going alone. So people can sign up for that on our website and just click the calendar for more information, or call us, and we'll be happy to sign you up as long as there is space available. So those are just a couple of the ways that we are trying to have more group activities, more social engagement, and hoping that helps people, you know, with that isolation issue. So that's our good news. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by two incredibly talented musicians, violinist, singer, songwriter, and composer Deni Bonet, along with guitarist and vocalist Chris Flynn. They're a powerhouse duo, and we are so happy to have them here today. Welcome, Deni and Chris.
Hey, Lillie.
Thank you.
We're very happy to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you guys here. And this is kind of a prelude to the performance you're going to be doing at the library on March 6th. So I am so glad you were able to join us tonight and talk a little bit about your wonderful career. And both of you are just so interesting. Deni, you have such a unique career. It's always so interesting to hear how people get to where they are today. I know you play the violin, and you've taken it in the most incredible direction. tell us how you got started in music and why the violin?
Why not? It's small. No, actually, if I was going for small, I just would have probably picked up the piccolo. But and I have enough gear for that little violin that it kind of cancels out the size of it. But no, I actually studied piano when I was a little kid. I studied recorder when I was even like 4, and then piano, and then my mother played the violin, so it was only natural that I should steal her instrument from under the bed and take it to school and learn how to play it. So it was always very natural. The violin seemed like it was always an extension of my arm, more so even than the piano.
And Chris, how about you? How did you start playing music? I know you're a guitarist. Tell us about that.
So I started because as a kid, you'd see so many things on television that featured the guitar. And my first guitar hero was Glenn Campbell. And I'd see him on television, and I'd look at him and go, I want to do that. All right. And that was pretty much started. So got my first guitar in the 2nd grade, took lessons at the library.
Wow.
And they said,
Are you just saying that?
No, be totally serious. Took lessons at the Bayonne Library, and the woman who taught me told my mom, he's too small. I was like 2nd grade. So I waited, and then finally around 7th grade, I'm like, okay, I want to play. And so I took it out and realized it was not in a great shape. So my dad took me, we got another guitar, started lessons, and before you know it, I was just off and running. Like I was immersed and did not want to do anything else.
Wow. I'm so excited to hear that you started learning at the library. That's incredible.
Yes.
I was going to study at the library, but my parents just sent me to Juilliard instead. So.
Poor you.
Okay, that was being a snob, wasn't it? I love the library, no doubt about it.
Because we did do guitar lessons at our library a little while back too. So it is really interesting that that's where you started. So now you also are songwriters and composers. So how did you get into that? And what do you love to do most?
Oh, wow. I started writing songs in the back seat of my family car. It was my sister, my mother and father were in the front of the car, and my sister and I'd be in the back. And we started by making up operas and singing at the top of our lungs in fake opera voices, partly to drive my parents nuts, but they seemed to enjoy it. Then we went from making up fake operas to, fake musical comedy, I'm over here, I'm having a ball, and I'm going to the mall, and just, we made up stuff. And, but I listened to a lot of Beatles and a lot of melodic music that had verses and choruses, and that made me really just want to kind of write like that and write songs that were, very melodic. How about you, Chris?
I have nothing that interesting. It's certainly not going to be that way. So for me, no, I didn't sing songs in the car as a kid. And
you could have come over in our car. We would have had you.
My youngster days were filled with like the Archies and stuff like that. So
Sugar?
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, me and my grandmother would listen to that record. So once I started playing, it wasn't until years later that I got into a band, and it was a band that already had a songwriter. I wasn't thinking about anything then. And then he left. It's like, okay, what do we do now? Oh boy, better start writing some songs. And that's what started for me. So I was already into my 20s when I was, I guess it was a little bit before that, before I joined that band. It was late bloomer, totally. It was, after college type thing, Yeah, it was later for me.
So I know you grew up in Northern Virginia, right, Deni?
I did. And I think my first experience, well, in music anyway, I played in the orchestra, and I am excited to tell you that I was first chair of the high school orchestra in my freshman year, all the way through. That is bragging, because I had to fight against a guy.
If you could only see the face I'm making.
Yeah, he's making that. Oh, yeah, tell you. Yeah. No, but really, it was one of these things that it got me out of class, is what it was all about. For me, it was like, if I got involved in all these extracurricular activities, I never actually had to go to school, which was really quite brilliant from the way I could see. You had drama club. Oh, cool. Secretary of the class. Cool. All this stuff. I never actually had to go to class, which is why I'm not so smart, and Chris does all the thinking for the two of us. No.
So, Chris, how about you? Were you smart in school? I'm sure. I think that's so funny.
For me, I kind of split. I played baseball through college.
Wow.
And you don't find, I guess, a lot of musicians and jocks, right? They don't usually go together.
You're definitely dressed the part.
I just came from baseball right now. So for me, high school was mostly just, a lot of guys in high school played guitar. So, you'd go to each other's houses and jam with each other and learn certain songs. And you were all still learning together. But then I got to college, didn't really do any music in college because I was playing baseball. There was no time for music. And ever since that ended, it's been nonstop music, right? So it was like pretty much baseball was like, that was it. And it's been music ever since. And it is somewhat
and a little
all-consuming.
Baseball in between.
Well, I do. Yeah, I still do. I coach high school, but I do way more music stuff. Music, as my wife would say to me, it's all-consuming.
Well, lucky for us. That's amazing, Chris. So I love baseball, so I'm glad to hear that you're so multi-talented. I think you guys, you have such an incredible energy when you guys are performing. I know we had you at the library before, and you're so engaging, and the audience just loves you, and you have such a great banter between you, and it makes the whole concert fun. It's not just about the incredible
Lillie.
music, but it's entertaining. And I've paid a lot of money to go to shows that I don't like sometimes. So when I can bring this to the audience, and you guys are so fun. It hits on every note. People walk away saying, wow, where did you get them? They were terrific. Please bring them back. You really do impact the audience. And I know I'm amazed when I read all of that, where you've played. And I know from the White House, you played for President Obama, the United Nations. You sold out at Carnegie Hall, and you even played on the Great Wall of China. Like, that's incredible. And yet you still perform for libraries. And I think that's so, I don't know, that's just something so enchanting about that. Tell me, why do you do that? How do you go from that kind of big stage to a library, and why?
Well, we actually love playing intimate concerts and playing to, especially playing libraries, because people are there. They want to hear music. It's a concert. It's not just, people passing by. And we kind of discovered libraries right before the pandemic. We discovered that communities have these concerts, and they, I went on a rampage, and I started calling every library in the tri-state area to get concerts. And I'm happy to say that we've been doing this and getting called. We book them, the minute we finish a concert, we usually come right back, on the books, at least for a year later, to come back again. And it's wonderful to have a purpose. Don't you think?
Yes. But one thing, let me just add this. Because we played them so frequently, right, that helped us become who we are. It really did. And it was because we were getting these library gigs, and they are intimate. So, you have to be able to interact. Like when you play on a big stage, we played in Ireland last year,
Yeah.
a festival in Northern Ireland called the Stendhal Festival. We'll say this, it was our most well-paid gig, right? But you played for all these people, it was impersonal to a large degree.
Yeah.
Yet when we played these smaller
And wet.
places,
It was
and wet,
pouring
it was
down
wet.
rain.
But yet when we went and played a smaller place, there was so much more interaction with everybody and so much, it actually makes it more enjoyable. So I think we enjoy, as much as we love to play Carnegie Hall, we enjoy playing an intimate space. And I think too, people who are coming, that may be their only outlet for entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? And we want to provide an entertaining afternoon.
And you hit on something very important there. Yes, for sure.
I mentioned a second ago about, having a purpose. And for me personally, I think that, people have so much on their minds right now. And there's so much sadness and negativity in the world. And it makes me really proud that after people leave, often people come up and say, that felt really good. I laughed, I smiled, and had a great time. And, that's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to know that, people leave our shows feeling happy. That's a great purpose in life.
And it is. And I, as the program director and marketing director, I'm always looking for ways to bring our community in and to fill voids in the community. And it's a small town, and we really try to bring the music to our residents and patrons. And I'm so grateful because it's an amazing performance. And to what Chris said, like, where else would they go if they're not, able to get to the city or able to go someplace, whether they can't afford it or whether they just can't get there? We just bring the music to them. And it really is special for so many people. And we've heard that from a lot of people, like they would never go see this. They would never be able to. And they're just so happy when they get a performance of your caliber. And the last time you played, I can't tell you how many emails and calls we got afterwards asking for you guys to come back.
No, tell us.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Hey, Lily, I
many.
live in the city and I don't go in the city. It's like, I think it's great that people, have this outlet that they go and have a good time and support their library. You've got a beautiful facility. It's a beautiful, beautiful library. And, it's a great place to, good acoustics, a good place to hear music.
Yeah.
Or to hear a lecture or to, anything, to be there, hang out, have some time in the stacks.
Well, you sold out. We can hold 60 people in that room just about, and we have our registration is already over 60. So you sold out Carnegie Hall, and now you sold out Patterson Library. So
There you go.
Excellent.
We'll take it.
I know that you opened for Patti Smith and the Gin Blossoms, Kansas, and these great people. So what is your favorite? Like, is there a favorite performance or a favorite place?
Well, we love Ireland. We're going back. I got to say that people in Ireland love music and any kind of music. The first time I played in Ireland was completely intimidated because, fiddle players or violinists or whatever you're calling it this week in Ireland are a dime a dozen, and they're always amazing and really amazing. And, we got there and people just embraced what we do. So, we were there in July and we're going back in April and beginning May, and got some theaters and, and some smaller things, a mix of shows to look forward to. But favorite places to play? I think it's usually like the arts centers and smaller places, to be honest.
Is there a memorable highlight from your career, a specific show or something?
Carnegie Hall. Carnegie Hall.
Should I tell a memorable story from Carnegie Hall?
Well, I don't know. Is it embarrassing?
Of course it's embarrassing.
What was the embarrassing story in Carnegie Hall?
First time I'm playing Carnegie Hall with Deni. I'm set up to her left, which usually I'm on her right, but I'm on her left. Good big stage, doesn't matter.
It's a big stage. It's Carnegie Hall.
And it's time for her big solo. Literally, she's going to just solo by herself. And I'm going to take off my guitar and switch to guitars. So I go to switch the guitar, and instead of doing it nice and smooth, I knock the guitar stand over. It makes this resounding loud boom through the hall. And I'm holding two guitars, and the stand is on the floor. And I'm sitting there going, what am I going to do now?
And we repeat, it's Carnegie Hall.
And it's Carnegie Hall. So, yes, when things go, you tend to remember those things. And you laugh about it later. You laugh about it, those things. And the funny thing about it, after it happened, I said to her, did you not hear that? And she goes, not at all.
No, I was in another place.
She was in her zone, right? So,
wow.
Yes. But it was fun.
I'm sure.
I'll give you one of my favorite places.
What?
Is Sellersville Theater in Pennsylvania.
Was that one of your favorites?
It was.
Why?
Because the crowd really liked me.
Oh, my Lord.
I forget what happened. Yeah.
Okay, well, if we're going to go there then, one of my favorite places was soloing in front of a symphony orchestra.
Oh, there you go.
And,
there you go. There you go. That's fine.
That's fun. Wearing a gown and, and shaking my groove thing in front of a symphony. That's pretty big.
That's huge.
I like that. I like that. But it's so funny because, a lot of times I have to say, you don't necessarily remember the best gigs. You remember the most memorable gigs, the ones like when someone hired me to play for an engagement. The guy was going to be asking his girlfriend for her hand in marriage, and it was somewhere in Long Island when I first moved to New York, and I had to sit in the front of a horse and carriage with the driver up high. And it had just snowed, and the horse was like slipping all over the place. And I'm trying to hold on to my bow for dear life, and I'm wearing cut-off gloves, thinking, is this really worth it? Am I going to live to tell the tale?
Wow.
I mean, you remember the goofy stuff.
Sure.
I can't help it. The gigs that later you talk about going, did we just do that? But then, of course, there's the wonderful gigs. Like we played this place called Book Market in Ireland, where we didn't know what to expect. And we went in there, and I'd say, I don't know how many people, there were about 50 people or something like that.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
And, I mean, we just had a really great time because, you're so close to these people in the audience that, if someone heckled you, you had a conversation with them, and they loved it. We had a great time, and we hope to go back there, soon.
Well, I think any performer at any level, what you're always trying to do is make some type of connection with the audience. And that is you need to connect. You have to find a way to connect. Either it could be just through the music, but it could be through stories. It could be through humor. And it's funny enough because a lot of times people would just come up to us after a gig and go, wow, you guys have such good chemistry up there and talking blah, blah. And sometimes we're not even aware of it. And it's just part of what we do. But even that little bit they enjoy that.
I think that is your gift. Yes.
And a lot of times I think we get to a certain point, too, where, it used to be in my previous life before PC, pre-Chris.
BC, before Chris.
I was saying PC, pre-Chris.
Deni Bonet, BC.
BC. I mean, we've been playing together, 6-7 years now. But, in my previous lives, it was lonely. And it's not as lonely anymore. No, but now it's like we'd worry so much about every note that you played, and you were trying to go for perfection and performance and everything else. And, we might make a mistake here and there, and then we just sort of laugh about it because, oh, well, it happens.
We do it to enjoy ourselves.
Exactly.
And that's apparent to everybody in the audience that you're having a good time. Yeah.
Correct. And if we can do that, then it will translate. And that's the way we always felt.
Sure.
Exactly.
Well, like I said, I think the audience response is always so wonderful. And I think you connect with them on every level between the music and the conversation and the humor, all of it. It is really a wonderful performance.
Well, thank you.
I know you also, right? You were on the Today Show and SNL and Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Tell me about that.
Well, that was also
That's BC.
I did that. Yeah, I mean, the important thing is to learn how to ask famous people to have your picture taken with them, and so that you can brag about it later. And then you just say, you go up to a famous person and you say, "Can I have my picture with you for my refrigerator?" And no one's going to turn that down. So that's, so you end up with a lot of pictures of famous people. But no, seriously, let's see, Conan O'Brien.
We are very opposite when it comes to the selfies. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm good with the selfies.
She's all about the selfies, not me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Saturday Night Live, I did that. And, you're walking in the hallways and you see these pictures and you're just like, wow, this is cool, and there's always that fear as a violinist that, that your nerves might take control. I think one of the scariest, most hyped things I've ever done was Lilith Fair. I was on the Lilith Fair tour back in the day, and my nerves kicked in so bad right before the concert. I mean, like crazy kicked in, and I just I literally stood in front of a mirror before I had to go out there and just said, "You're the boss. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this." Because there's always that fear that I'm going to get so nervous I'm going to drop my bow. But I don't get nerves that often. Not like that. That was nerves. And the orchestra, I got nerves. For the rehearsal. I had nerves for the rehearsal, not so much for the concert. Right?
That's funny. We've interviewed other performers too. And when we talked to Ellen Foley, who has been on Broadway and the stage and performed with Meatloaf and all of this wonderful career, she said she too gets nervous a couple of days before. So I guess, yeah, that's something I think it's, some people get nervous and some people get right out there. And I guess regardless of where you are in your career, it's new every time you step out onto the stage, right?
Yeah, but once you get out there, and there's a crowd, it's really fun. The nerves go away.
And they probably energize you.
Yeah, you just go out and you have fun because it's like cool, It's like they're listening, they're cheering, everything's fun.
And you know what, Chris, dropping the guitar or the stand, to me, that's something that I'll talk about when I go home. Like that makes it more fun for the person watching.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have more of a story.
Yes. Yeah. I can laugh about it now. Certainly in the moment, I was like, hide me away somewhere.
But did it ruin the rest of the show? No.
Did not ruin the rest of the show, but it was one of those things going, oh, good gosh.
You guys are terrific. So what's coming up? New music, new recordings, tours?
We're going to Canada.
We are. Next week. Next week? Is it next week?
Next week. Yeah, next week.
We're going to be in a car together for about 8 hours each way. And, we'll still be talking hopefully by the time I'll sleep. It'll be great.
Where in Canada are you headed?
Montreal.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're going to Montreal for the Folk Alliance International conference. And it's going to be a lot of fun. People from all over the world are going to be there playing music. So it's a big, giant music festival. We've got some showcases planned. And then we have a bunch of concerts. We got a Watchung Arts Center is coming up.
Which is in New Jersey. Then we have the Turning Point in Piermont, New York in April. And then at the end of April into May, we're off to Ireland. Mm-hmm. And in between all of that, We've got library
We've
gigs.
got some libraries coming up. Yeah. We have about 35 concerts on the books. We have concerts going into next year, and more coming in. So, we got Massachusetts. We're playing a festival in April in Newton, Massachusetts, which is the town and city festival, which is some pretty big names on there. and us. It's going to
And
be a lot of
you
fun.
guys are the big names.
There we go.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Put it together. It's a big name.
You guys are terrific, and this has been such a fun conversation. Where can people find out more about you guys, about your music, and stay updated as to where you're playing?
Easiest place is our website, which is Bonet Flynn. So our two last names,
One N,
right? BONETFLYNN.com.
One N, two N.
Our website will have all the latest shows that we play. That's always up to date. On social media, we have Instagram at Bonet Flynn. On Facebook, you can find us at, I think it's facebook.com/Bonet Flynn. So trying to be as consistent as we can be, right? Make it easy.
Yeah. Well, your website's terrific, and I will make sure we share and post all of this information. I want to tell people to, if they do want to come see you at the library on March 6th, to please get on the wait list. And if anybody cancels, we'll be happy to move people over. So, yeah, we already have a full house, but never know. So I would say get on the wait list.
You're going to need a bigger room.
Open up the stacks.
And we'll have to do a summer concert where you guys play in the park, and then it's like we can have 150 people we've had in the past. So yeah, next time we'll do a summer show, so we won't have to limit the number of people. So, well, thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys are terrific. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in March.
We're really looking forward to playing for you in March. It'll be here before we know it, like
Yeah.
a couple of weeks.
Yeah. This whole year's flying by right already.
Thank you guys again. Have a great night.
Thanks so
you.
much.
Thanks, Lillie.
Thank you for tuning in to the Patterson Library Connection. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us grow, please share it with a friend. You can follow us and subscribe to our podcast on our website at pattersonlibrary.org, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. This podcast was recorded at the Patterson Library in Patterson, New York. Special thanks to our sound engineer, producer, and composer, Adam Bernier, our library director, Stephanie Harrison, and our board of trustees, and to you, our listeners. I'm your host, Lillie Muscente. We'll see you next time on the Patterson Library Connection. The Patterson Library trustees and staff do not promote nor endorse the opinions of our guests.